Good afternoon and good evening, and welcome back to the West Ham Network for today's Hammers Headlines, which of course is in association with the guys over at kumb.com. Knees up, Mother Brown. Go and check out their content, of course, their website and their channel forum. Please, the forum's fantastic. Like, you've got fans from all over the world that give you strong, good debates, everything West Ham. Good banter, and everyone's there to help each other out. So please do go and check them out. Now, listen, as we're becoming a regular feature with the Hammers Headlines, we are bringing you today David Moyes' press conference. So he has been a busy man answering lots and lots and lots of questions that was given to him by the press. Now, what happens is sometimes these things are embargoed and you do get most of the information, not all, but most. But you do a little bit more digging, you can find out exactly or roughly what was said in that press conference, which is what I am going to bring to you today. So if you are new around here, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We're on the march towards 14,000 subscribers. I'd love to say 20,000 subscribers, but we're going to need a hell of a lot more people to subscribe to the channel in order to get there. And also, please hit your thumbs up if you are enjoying our content. Please leave a comment as well. This is live, so I'll go through some of the comments that you put up on the channel, but after the show has finished, please leave your comments with your honest feedback as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, I will get rocking and rolling with the first bit of news today on the press conference, and that is obviously usually one of the first things that they cover is injuries and some team news. So Moyes was asked about injuries, and he said probably the same group of players as last week is potentially available to him. Craig Dawson is doing quite well after picking up a knock. Angelo Ogbonna is coming back. He's coming on from his cruciate, so hopefully we'll have most of our players fit. Luka, as in Fabianski, has got a bit of a knock, and Mickey Antonio had a bit of a knock, but he has trained okay. So that is borderline positive news, but again, as we know, when we do these shows, we know that Moyes will not give the full information. If you take into consideration last week when you believed, was Scamacca going to get some game time at West Ham? You were led to believe that he was not going to get given game time, but he was. So you have to sometimes take what is said with a pinch of salt. However, he has given us an update. I take from that Craig Dawson could be available for the game. Ogbonna is nowhere near. I think Luka Fabianski will be missing, so I think we might see Areola, but we'll talk about that further in the preview. And obviously, Mickey Antonio, who's been training, will be available for the game. Now, next up on the press conference, he was asked about the new boys in Scamacca and Cornet, and he says, I think that they are ready to start. I think it's just a decision if we're ready to play them yet. They're getting much closer to it. That's for sure. Now they've had a few weeks of training. Now I think it's a no-brainer when these two, we're talking about these two players of starting. You know, Cornet, the most versatile West Ham player currently in that squad. Scamacca, you know, we saw 25, 30 minutes of him and what he was capable of doing in the game against Man City last week. And I think he's going to terrorise defences in this Premier League. So he's going to want some game time. And I think this is a perfect game to come up against, you know, the new boys who have signed a lot of players who haven't yet gelled. Doesn't mean that they won't gel, doesn't mean that they won't play well against West Ham, but we have some new boys who can definitely make a difference, and I think Scamacca definitely could be one of those players with Cornet putting balls into that box. What a huge, huge investment for West Ham. As we move on to the next part, which is everyone's been talking about it, the exits from the club. Players have been leaving the club in an abundance. And he said it was important that Arthur, as in Masuaku, left. We wanted him to get more playing time. And the same with Nikolai Vlasic. We couldn't guarantee to find him a position. Issa felt he was not going to be involved as much. It was best for him as well. Now, if you talk about Arthur Masuaku, obviously it was a loan deal. And there is an option to buy the player. However, I think it was best for both parties. I think we probably thought he was going to get sold, but Moyes has used them and utilised them a bit in the season and over since he's had him at the club. He has absolutely utilised what Arthur Masuaku usually does. So, you know, I wasn't too sure as the season was going on what exactly was going to happen with Masuaku. So I'm just going to make sure everything's working okay. Yeah, it is. But I think do you know what? We haven't sold him. It's a good deal. He's there on loan. Let's see what happens. But I can see him probably moving there long term as we move forward. When it comes to Vlasic, I think it was a shame. I think he's maybe been I don't know if he was a Moyes signing or if he was a Sullivan signing, but either way, he's going to get some game time. He wants game time for. He signed for obviously Torino on loan, and they've got the World Cup coming up in November, and he's going to want game time in order to push forward. And the coach from Croatia said several months ago that he needs game time as well. So I thought that was going to be a no-brainer of a signing. There is an option to buy the player. It's not mandatory, but the option to buy the player could be upwards of 15 million quid. Now, we are led to believe that West Ham have only played one installment for Vlasic, around about 10 million quid. So if we have, and due to the sanctions against Russia, and we are not due to pay any more, then in theory, if he does get sold for 15 million quid, then we could be quids in on that deal. But we will have to see how that one transpires. And of course, with Issa Diop, I think a lot of fans were getting a bit pissed off with his social media rants. I don't know if I blame him really as such. I mean, I go back to the Rangers game in the preseason friendly. He wasn't involved at all, never came on as a sub at all. And him and Masuaku were the first two players out. And they were a strong 25, 30 minutes of a difference between them and other players coming out onto the bus. So they were pissed off. They looked pissed off. They came in, they went no in the fans. They looked angry. And yeah, if that's going to have a bit of a meltdown in behind the scenes, I know we want recruits in, but you've got to get rid of any bad eggs. And I'm not saying Issa Diop was a bad egg, but there was things I saw, physically saw, and then kind of gathered from online when he was starting to do those emojis on his Instagram stories. Things like that don't help the dressing room. So he has gone and on a permanent deal to Fulham, and we wish him all the best as per usual. Then the next question is everything that everyone wants to know, which is on transfers. David Moyes said, we don't want to fill places for the sake of doing so. He said that in an interview recently, if you did watch it. We are trying really hard. We've made lots of offers. If I was going to give an update, I would give it to my club team. Then he was asked about particular players, and the first one he was asked was Mateus Nunes. He said, we bid for him, but the boy chose not to come. We're trying to add players that can make us competitive and try and put us near the top of the league. We want good quality players. So fair play. I appreciate the honesty. I absolutely do appreciate the honesty. However, I think that this shows, and I do agree with what Moyes is saying, this does show where West Ham potentially are at. We are in the position of transitioning to what we would want to be a top six club. And if we want to, maybe we're going to have to start offering the big bucks, but we don't have the owners to offer the big bucks. So we are where we are because of the situation we're in with the owners that we've got, which isn't ideal, but they're not going to break the wage structure to bring these players into the club. Then he goes on and speaks about career. He says, if I was going to give an update, I would have first given it to my club team. That's what I do first of all. He says, we're not any further forward with it at the moment, but we are progressing. So he is pretty much saying that we are progressing for the deal for career from PSG. We are led to believe that his associates from his camp are in London in the process of negotiating. We could see this one go over the dotted line sooner rather than later, which is, of course, good because we do need recruits in that defence. Desperately need recruits in that defence ASAP. But he was asked another question, and this was on Memphis Depay, of course, of Barcelona. And David Moyes said, thanks to our good friend over at Rashane Thomas from The Athletic, he said, we are not working on Memphis Depay deal. Now, I know we do shows, but only we do shows as we report what news is given to us. So again, we're not claiming to be ITKs or anything like that. But earlier today, which is as ridiculous as it is, you're led to believe that West Ham are the club that's interested in bringing Memphis Depay into the club, which is going to break our wage structure dramatically, absolutely dramatically. And when you hear that of 200k, I'm really not sure how that would work for West Ham. I can't see how that benefits West Ham. I'm not denying whatsoever that he is a top-notch quality player that would advance our squad. But how would we manage that situation? I don't physically know how we would be able to manage that situation, because that would mean that players who are in the squads are who are nowhere near it, who are nowhere near that money. 200k a week is a ridiculous amount of money. So again, smoke and mirrors. I don't particularly know how true things are or not, but all we're doing is reporting what we have heard. Earlier on today, we were led to believe that we were on the table and on the market for Memphis Depay. However, we've since heard that we're not, from the horse's mouth, i.e. David Moyes. So we've got to take that on the chin, exactly what Mr. David Moyes has said. So keep your comments coming in and let me know your thoughts. I've already done the injuries. So he goes on and he talks about Nottingham Forest. He said it's been a great club over many, many years, and I don't think there would be a fan in the UK who wouldn't name Brian Clough in Nottingham Forest. It was great to get Leeds back in the Premier League a couple of years ago, and it's great to see them back to a big challenge. You only need to look at what Fulham have done in their first game, what Bournemouth have done. If you had a choice, you wouldn't want to play the newly promoted sides towards the early games of the season. I've got a big respect for the manager, Steve Cooper. He's done an incredible job to get them into the Premier League, and I have to give them huge praise for what they've done. I've been hugely impressed with them. And I think, do you know what? Fair play again, respecting the opposition. That's what he's doing. He's putting the stamp of authority of the respect onto the opposition. And fair play, Nottingham Forest. It's good to have them back. It is. And I don't want fans to get muddled up in this social media war between fan bases because of the Lingard situation. It's a ridiculous situation. You know, Nottingham Forest come from a deep, deep line of history, European glory, you know, success in the league. Once upon a time, we're a very, very well-known, popular team. Of course, he mentions Brian Clough there. And we're not going to let the situation over Jesse Lingard, you know, cloud our opinion on them. You know, social media is a toxic place. So just ignore all the crap. I think the game's going to be interesting tomorrow. They've come up. They've spent a lot of money. They've bought a lot of players. And it's just going to be interesting to see how they transition as a team with buying lots of new players. How do they make those players click and connect and work together? Sometimes teams can do it, and sometimes teams can't. So that will make for an interesting game, of course, as we move forward. Now, listen, it wouldn't be a press conference, probably a press conference, if he didn't mention the L word, Lingard, let alone the fact that he is going to be playing West Ham this weekend. And David Moyes was asked about Lingard, and he said the owners and directors made a great offer for Jesse. It was no failing from the club. Jesse was entitled to choose where he wanted to go. All we do know is Jesse is a very good player. He had an exceptional loan spell here. He scored 9 goals and 15 games or something. It was exceptional, and it really, really was exceptional. And of course, I wanted him at the club at the time, but I was just more pissed off at the fact that he alluded to things on his own social media account that led me to believe that he would be coming back to West Ham. But of course, he didn't. I don't know the full situation with his weekly wages. We're led to believe that he is on over 150, maybe 180k a week. I don't know what is true, because some Nottingham Forest fans believe he's on 80 to 90, and he knocked back West Ham to go and believe in the dream of Nottingham Forest. I don't know how much I believe of that. Maybe he's on a base salary of 80 or 90k a week, but his signing on fee might then take that money all the way through to 180k a week. One thing that we do know is that David Moyes likes Jesse Lingard, has always liked Jesse Lingard, and wanted to bring Jesse Lingard back to the club and didn't manage to do that. So now we're looking elsewhere. But it's going to make a tough game. I think Jesse Lingard's going to be up for it. We've seen what he's capable of doing when he came to the club. We've seen what he's capable of doing when he plays the club, because he did score against us for Manchester United last season, albeit it wasn't a great season for him individually. So yes, get your comments in regarding that as well. Then he was asked about his top 6 aims. He says, I think we're still piecing ourselves together. We will get better and better, and get a better idea once everything is in place. We know we need to reach really high standards again, and I completely concur with him. I absolutely do think we need to, and I understand what he is saying. If you watch that interview with him on YouTube, it's really, really interesting interview, because it's right. He says, when I first come into the club, I want to, you had to sign players in order to stay in the league. But now we're in the position we're in. We need to sign players that progresses up the league and move us into that top 6. And sometimes when you try and sign these players, you're not going to get those players through the roof, because they're going to be looking at other clubs and seeing what else is out there and what else other teams can offer them. And then what can West Ham offer them? So we find ourselves in that kind of middle island, in the middle ground, and how do we move forward? People think we just need bodies for the sake of it. Well, I know people are counting the squad and thinking, well, 17 fit players for the game at the weekend when you can make 5 substitutions isn't a really good, strong squad. But I think there is quality there, but he's not hiding away from the fact that he wants to bring recruits in. He absolutely does, and I have the faith. I do have the faith. Don't care what anyone says. I have the faith that he is going to do it. So that, again, will make for interesting reading. Now, I'm going to jump into some of the comments. There is plenty here to talk about. DJ Russie B is in the house. He said 12:30 West Ham have bid for Depay. Confirmation by Jake Sternberg and X, etc. 2 p.m. Moyes. It wasn't us. You can't make it up. Vinay saying, I am looking forward to the Forest game, as we all are as well. David Moyes changing words to Shaggy Tune. It wasn't us. It wasn't me. Jordan, classic Moyes mind games in the presser. I've got no idea what to think. Jordan, you are nail on the bloody head. Smoke and mirrors is what David Moyes is all about. Shave it off, shave it off. Mate, I was honestly like, it's ridiculous. I've never had it this long in my life, and I don't know how I'm coping with it. It's just a hat. But the hat won't be here for much longer because if I can get it to a position where I'll do it, then I'll keep an eye on it. But keep an eye on what I'm going to be doing. Greetings from Greece, everyone. Good evening or good afternoon. Listen, it's ridiculously warm here. And I'm in Scotland, but it is ridiculously warm. No word of a lie. Vinny, Iraola starts against Forest. I think I agree as well, Jordan. This Forest game feels like the first game of the season. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. Peter says, don't forget under 21's in action tonight against Arsenal on the YouTube channel, 7 p.m. Tommy Black says, let's just hope this means they start. Absolutely. In relation to Corney and Scamacca, I wish Fab well. Hope he takes time to recover. He's done great in the past and should not rush his comeback. Greetings from South Africa. Thank you very much, Richie boy. Ralph, if we have Corner, Scamacca and Bowen, we need Arulo's awesome distribution for the counter attack. Corney, even. Yep. Charlie Baker. For a man like Moyes, who typically keeps his card close to his chest regarding transfers, to mention the bit of Carrera's progressing must be good news. I completely concur with that as well. I do agree with you. That is good news. Vinay says Vlašic's not playing the strongest position, just like Benny and Yarma. 15 million euros, I thought. Tommy says, I hope he gets some game time. They also brought in Murinchuk, who pretty much plays in that same number 10 position, but I don't think they would take him even on loan if they didn't want to use him. Vinay saying Vlasic not played in a strong position. We've already covered that, haven't we? Yeah. Peter says 2 good wins needed before the untenable Brighton turn up. Please don't bring them up to me again, Peter. Brighton or due are beaten by West Ham. It will happen, Vinay. Yep. How good would that be? Why do we use carrier pigeons to our transfer deals? I don't know. I don't think it's us, mate. It's not just West Ham. I said the other day when I was doing the stream, I was listening to the Wolves fans from Talking Wolves, and apparently it's exactly the same with regards to their situation. Leicester, I think they're only due to sign their first player this window, but I think they've been linked to about 100 players and not signed anybody. So it just shows you that clubs are all in the same boat. Could Moyes be lying about the Depay deal? Do you know what? It could be. It could be. Again, smoke and mirrors. But the thing is, sometimes, Anthony, that... for me, you just try and weigh up exactly what it is on the tin. Depay wants 200k a week. He's got Premier League experience. He's at Barcelona. West Ham's closest player to him is like 125k. That's 75k more for Memphis Depay. That is a complete wage structure breakdown, and I don't know what knock-on effect that has on the team. Yes, okay, if you're Declan Rice's and Jared Bowen's and the best players in the team, you're looking at the thinking behind going for the top best players in the world, because I think Depay is a quality player. Really do. I think he offers a whole new outlet. Then it does look good on the outset, but it does change things at the club, and we've tried that before and it's not worked so well for us. Charlie says, not confident about playing Forest at their place when they return to the Prem. They'll have energy and togetherness, something we seem to be lacking right now. We're missing Noble's leadership. I don't know, Charlie. I don't know if we can really say that. I mean, we've got that leadership. We had it last season, and we've only had one game against Manchester City, the reigning champions. It wasn't great, but I'm not going to be panicking yet. Why do we take forever to sign Carrera? Absolutely no effing way is that useful, Sheezy. I hope you are well. I've sent you a message. I don't even know if you use that, what's it called, Discord anymore. Please let me know if you do. I'd like to have a chat with you, please, because I've missed you, my man. Agree, Ralph. If Carrera's team are in London and PSG must have accepted the offer, so we must be haggling over wages. Let's hope GSB offer more than Sevilla. Charlie, yep, where these, this is what was going on. Usual suspect, we offered Rice 200 grand. Yeah, we did. My God, what's happened to the comments here? You're right. Depay is proven in the Prem a proven failure. Folk Pie like players don't accept 125k a week. Absolutely. All right. Okay. Please, can you do me a favor? Can you send us a DM or unfollow us and follow us so I can see the notification coming through on Twitter? Folk, please do it so at least I can see that you probably do follow us, but I unless your name is, or just tell me your name on it and I'll find you on it as well, please. That would be cool. Artel is saying Moyes evasive as ever, but I wouldn't break the structure for Depay, and I think that's the biggest thing. Would you break West Ham structure to bring in Memphis Depay to the club? Me personally, I would not. I think there's going to be better talent out there, but if we're going to be looking for that talent that fits our wage structure, that offers West Ham progression, we're going to have to be a bit more patient. We have 2.5 weeks to go to the window closes. It's not ideal. You want players in the door now, but I thought we were going to see a bit more movement this week, but we haven't seen that movement this week, and it's hopefully going to be moving into the new week as well. But listen, that does bring an end. There we go. Charlie says doesn't fit our structure, would create disharmony as well. Once I Depay on those wages. Now, listen, thank you very much for watching us on the David Moyes presser. Keep your comments coming in once the show is finished. Let me know your honest feedback on all the shows that we are doing. Tomorrow we are back with tweets all about it. If you've not seen it, it's Holly's show. It's a great show. You will love it. So come in and join us. This is what it's all about. Holly's second episode of the week. You will obviously come in and enjoy that. That will be great. Tomorrow evening, you will also be joining me for the match day preview, our new style match day preview. So you can come in and give us some honest feedback on that as well. And as we always do, everyone stay safe, take it easy, keep supporting West Ham. Let's hope we get a result and catch you later. Take it easy. Come on.